Hi, my name is Thomas, and I'm going to show you how to install and configure Parinfer inside of Atom. Atom is a general purpose code editor, and what you're going to do is start off by going to atom.io, click the download button, and when it is completed downloading, go through the setup process on your particular OS, and eventually you'll be able to open up the editor itself. It'll probably more or less look like this. So we can go ahead and close the welcome guide. We don't really need that right now. Close the welcome message. And we can tell it regarding telemetry to just not send my usage data. Then what you're going to do is press Command comma, and that's going to open up your settings menu. So again, the first thing we're going to do is install Parinfer. I'll go through that process with you, tell you how I usually configure it, and then we can go about seeing what it actually does. So when we go into install, we're going to search for Parinfer. It'll take a moment to find it, and it should be the first one here, and we'll just go ahead and install that. That'll take a few moments. And Parinfer has finished installing. We can go to the settings menu, and we are going to see that everything more or less is great on the default settings. The only thing that I would suggest adding is to enable smart mode, and I'll show you what that does in a moment. With that, Parinfer is now installed and configured. You can start coding Clojure and it'll work as expected. But I do want to show you a little bit about what Parinfer actually does. So what I've done is I opened up a little test file called parinfer.clj. The Clojure code itself doesn't really do anything. Don't really focus on that too much. What we're going to focus on is what Parinfer actually does. And what Parinfer does is it balances your parens. And all that means is if you create an opening paren, it'll automatically add the closing paren on your behalf. And this isn't just parentheses, this is square brackets, parens, curly braces. It works across the board for all of them. And maybe you want to wrap all these Clojure forms inside of square brackets. To do that, you add the square brackets in, and then Parinfer will automatically put it at the end. Then you can just indent each one of the forms, and the parens will automatically match on your behalf. You may have remembered that we also enabled smart mode, and what smart mode does is it allows you to move entire blocks of Clojure code while persisting their structure. So for example, notice that my cursor is before the let form here, and then when I press enter, everything, including the let form itself, is going to move in one space. So that is what we mean by preserving the structure overall. This is nice because, as you can see, if you take note of this paren right here, when I move it in, that paren automatically jumps down here, and it's automatically white spaced. So now you can see how in a more complicated Clojure form, Parinfer is really great. And it's nice because you can move the entire thing like this, or you can go down to this level here and maybe move it like that. And you can see Parinfer doing its magic if you look at the end of line 18 and see how it balances the parens. Some people can find paren balancing like this to be a little disorienting when they're new to a language like Clojure. I do recommend you stick with it because I think it helps you focus a little bit less on the parens in the beginning, which are a big source of gotchas, and make it more difficult to learn the language. But this is totally up to you. You don't have to use Parinfer, your choice. I find it very helpful in my workflow. Maybe you will too. That's the end of this video. In the next video, we're going to take a look at chlorine and integrating Atom to our REPL environment. I'll see you there.